Imagine this. You're cutting coupons, skipping your morning coffee, and buying the cheapest version of everything, all in the name of saving money to invest. But what if I told you that some of these money-saving habits are actually costing you more in the long run? Yes, that's right. Sometimes, in our quest to save every penny, we fall into traps, false economies, that sabotage our financial growth. Today, we'll uncover 7 deceptive savings habits that could be draining your wallet instead of filling it. And stick around, because number 5 is something almost everyone does, and it could be costing you thousands. But before we dive in, if you're serious about learning practical strategies to grow your wealth, make sure to subscribe to the Investor's Manual and hit that like button. Your support helps us keep delivering content that empowers your financial journey. Alright, ready? Let's get started. Number 1. Buying cheap, paying expensive. You know that feeling when you find a crazy cheap deal and think, wow, I'm saving so much money. But what if I told you that you might actually be losing money instead? Sounds weird, right? But think about this. Let's say you buy a cheap pair of shoes for $30 instead of investing in a quality pair for $100. At first, you feel like a genius for saving $70. But here's the problem. Those cheap shoes wear out in 6 months, forcing you to buy another pair. A year goes by and you've already spent $60. 3 years? You've spent $180, way more than the quality shoes would have cost in the first place. And this doesn't just apply to shoes. Cheap electronics, low-quality furniture, bargain bin tools, they all have one thing in common. They break faster, they don't perform as well, and they end up costing you more over time. This is what I call a false saving. You think you're being smart with your money, but in reality, you're making a bad investment. True saving isn't about spending the least amount of money, it's about spending money wisely. Now, let me know in the comments, have you ever fallen for this trap? What's something you bought cheap and later regretted? I'd love to hear your stories. Number 2. Skipping insurance to save money. Here's a big one. People love to think, I don't need insurance. Nothing bad will happen to me. And sure, statistically speaking, maybe you won't get into a car accident tomorrow. Maybe your house won't catch fire this year. But let me ask you this. Would you be prepared if it did happen? Let's take 2 people, John and Mike. John decides to skip insurance to save a few $100 a year. Mike, on the other hand, plays it safe and pays for good coverage. Fast forward a couple of years and boom, John's car gets totaled in an accident. No insurance means he's on the hook for thousands of dollars. Meanwhile, Mike? His insurance takes care of everything. See the difference? A small saving now can turn into a financial disaster later. And the worst part? This happens all the time. Medical bills, home repairs, car accidents, unexpected things can and do happen. So, if you're skipping insurance thinking you're saving money, you might actually be walking on a financial tightrope with no safety net. The real question is, are you willing to risk everything just to keep a few extra dollars in your pocket today? Number 3. Ignoring your health to save money. Let's be honest, going to the doctor is expensive. Gym memberships? Expensive. Eating healthy? Way more expensive than just grabbing fast food every day. So, a lot of people think, I'll just save money by skipping checkups, avoiding the gym, and eating cheap. Sounds logical, right? Because here's what happens. At first, everything seems fine. You feel okay, so you assume you're saving money. But then, months or years down the line, boom, you develop a serious health issue. Maybe it's something that could have been caught early but now requires expensive treatment. Maybe you're out of shape, and now you're facing medical bills that make gym fees look like pocket change. And let's not even talk about dental care. Skipping regular cleanings to save money is a classic false economy. A simple cleaning costs a fraction of what you'll pay for fillings, root canals, or worse, losing teeth. The truth is, health is an investment. And just like with money, small, smart investments today can prevent massive financial disasters in the future. So, ask yourself, are you really saving money by skipping doctor visits, avoiding the gym, and eating cheap food? Or are you just setting yourself up for a much bigger expense later? Number 4. DIY everything instead of hiring professionals. We all love a good DIY project. There's something satisfying about fixing things yourself and avoiding the cost of hiring a professional. But here's the catch. Sometimes, doing it yourself ends up costing way more than just paying someone to do it right the first time. Let's say your sink starts leaking. You watch a few YouTube videos and think, how hard can it be? So, you grab some tools and get to work. At first, everything seems fine. But a few days later, the leak gets worse. Water damage starts spreading. And now, instead of a simple fix, you have a much bigger and much more expensive problem. Or let's say you try to do your own taxes to save money. One small mistake, and you could end up paying penalties or even getting audited. Suddenly, that $200 accountant fee looks like a bargain. Yes, there are times when DIY makes sense. But there are also times when trying to do everything yourself is just a costly mistake in disguise. Professionals exist for a reason. They have the experience, the tools, and the knowledge to do things right the first time. So, next time you're about to take on a major DIY project, ask yourself, am I really saving money, or am I just creating a future disaster that will cost me way more? Number 5. Buying cheap products to save money. Who doesn't love a bargain? It feels great to pay less for something until that cheap product breaks 2 weeks later, and you have to buy another one. Let's talk about the classic example, shoes. You see 2 pairs. One is super cheap, the other is well-made but costs 3 times as much. Most people grab the cheaper pair, thinking they just made a smart money move. But guess what? That cheap pair wears out in a few months, while the high-quality pair lasts years. So, which one really costs more in the long run? The same logic applies to almost everything: electronics, tools, furniture, even clothing. Cheap items break faster, wear out quicker, and end up costing you more because you have to replace them over and over again. This doesn't mean you should always buy the most expensive thing available. But instead of thinking, what's the cheapest option, start asking, what's the best value for my money? Now tell me in the comments, what's the worst cheap purchase you've ever made? That one product that seemed like a great deal but ended up costing you more? Number 6. Skipping insurance to cut costs. Insurance is one of those things that feels like a waste of money until you desperately need it. A lot of people think, I'm healthy, I drive carefully, my house is fine. Why should I pay for insurance when nothing bad ever happens? And then, something happens. Maybe it's a car accident, a medical emergency, or an unexpected house fire. Suddenly, those years of saving by not paying for insurance turn into a financial disaster. Think about it. If you refuse to pay $50 a month for insurance to save money, but then you have to spend $10,000 on an emergency, did you really save anything? The truth is, insurance isn't an expense, it's protection against financial catastrophe. No one likes paying for something they might never use, but if you ever need it, you'll be grateful you made that choice. Quick question, have you ever seen someone go through this? Someone who avoided paying for insurance and then ended up in big financial trouble? Share your story in the comments. Number 7. Avoiding necessary insurance policies. Aside from health insurance, other types of insurance like home, car, and life insurance are often neglected by those trying to save money. However, one unexpected disaster can destroy everything you've built financially. Imagine losing your home in a fire and not having homeowners insurance, or getting into a car accident without proper coverage. The financial damage would be catastrophic. The psychological advantage of insurance. Beyond the practical financial protection, insurance provides peace of mind. Knowing that you have a safety net in place allows you to make financial decisions with greater confidence. Instead of worrying about potential disasters, you can focus on growth, investment, and long-term planning. Never view insurance as a wasted expense. It's an investment in your financial security and resilience. Assess your insurance needs regularly, comparing coverage options to find the best protection for your situation. While insurance premiums might seem like an unnecessary burden, they offer crucial protection against worst-case scenarios. Always assess the risks before deciding which policies to skip. Invest wisely, save smartly. Saving money is essential, but knowing where to cut costs is even more important. These 7 false savings can sabotage your financial future instead of helping it. Instead of focusing solely on reducing expenses, think long-term and make smart financial choices that truly build wealth. Think long-term, act intelligently. True financial wisdom lies in distinguishing between essential and non-essential expenses. Prioritize investments in your health, education, and security. When making decisions about spending, ask yourself, is this saving helping me build long-term wealth, or is it just a short-term fix? Invest in your health, education, and financial security. These are the foundations of lasting financial success. What are your thoughts on these false economies? Have you made any of these mistakes before? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more financial wisdom. Until next time, stay smart, stay safe, and stay invested.